I want to bring in Will Creeley. He's a legal director at the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, joining us from Philadelphia, nodding his head that he does share those concerns. So talk to me about those concerns.
Thanks very much for having me, Sarah.
Yeah.
The chill seems to be the point here. As Chris referenced, the federal government is making an example of Mr. Khalil and demonstrating that speech that one might think would be protected for all lawful permanent residents like Mr. Khalil, in fact, may be the basis of deportation and detainment, a knock on the door, a reason to keep your mouth shut instead of speaking out. This speech would be perfectly lawful for an American citizen. The idea that law enforcement might be able to go to a peaceful protest and ask people to show their papers to determine whether they can continue to speak should be chilling to every American.
He was, as Chris mentioned there at the end, he had permanent resident status. I believe he had a green card, though I'm not entirely sure about that. But I mean, that describes a lot of people who are in America right now. Do you think, you're saying they should be concerned, do you think that they are?
I think they are. We are hearing from people from across the country who have decided that it's rationally in their self-interest to self-censor rather than speak out. That is at odds with our long-standing national commitment to freedom of expression. And again, it seems to be intentional that if you have a dissenting or a disfavored viewpoint, a view that the administration doesn't like, the message being sent by not only Mr. Khalil's treatment, but the treatment of other students here on either student visas or lawful permanent residents here on green cards is that you better shut up. You better think twice before you speak out and take a position that the government doesn't like. That's flatly un-American.
So what do you think happens next? What do organizations like yours and those who are on campuses who are feeling the way you're describing, what's the next step?
That's a great question. We know that the fight for First Amendment rights is always always present. It's never easy. I know that the attorneys for Mr. Khalil, who we are in touch with, will continue fighting that fight. Ultimately, I think the provision that the Secretary of State is relying upon, the provision that allows him to deem a single graduate student somehow a threat to our national security or adverse to our foreign policy interests, I think that provision needs to be subject to re-analysis by federal courts. I don't think it passes muster under our Constitution and our Bill of Rights, and we're working to get that statute stay in court and hopefully found unconstitutional.
You said that the fight by his lawyers will continue, and I'm reading that they have, I think, until April 23rd to appeal, and I assume that that's going to happen. But let me finish by asking you, I mean, there's a lot of Canadians who we've been hearing from over the last, couple of months, and as we get closer and closer to today, which is a day Canadians now have to register if they're going to stay beyond a certain point in the United States. Many of them saying, I'm coming back to Canada, I'm feeling afraid. And I don't know if this somehow, or what would your message be to visitors from neighboring Canada? We feel like we're so close, but I think this is just one more box that's going to tick in the category of fear, potentially.
It absolutely breaks my heart. I grew up in Buffalo, New York. I could see Canada if I climbed up to the roof of my house. I grew up watching CBC. It's an honor to be here. The idea that Canadians would have anything to fear from speaking out while they're in the United States is heartbreaking. It indicates to me a real abdication of responsibility and friendship that has endured between our countries for a long time. And again, it's fundamentally un-American to tell people that they can be detained or suffer any kind of adverse consequence for saying something the government doesn't like. That's not who Americans are or should be.
Will Creeley, legal director at the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, joining us from Philadelphia. Really good to speak with you. Thank you.
Thank you.